What's goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video, and I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. There ain't a whole lot to say, but what there is to say, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. And of course, I'm talking about this upcoming game between the Panthers and the Chiefs, the 3-5 Panthers, going up against the defending NFL champion 7-1 Chiefs, a game in which you can probably go ahead and bet will get ugly quickly, stay ugly, and maybe at the end of the game, it might look a little bit less ugly, where people who didn't watch the game might think to themselves, okay, according to these numbers, maybe these two teams had a tough fight. Maybe this game stayed close and one mistake might have ballooned the score to what it is right now. Now, which team won, which team lost, I'm going to get to my thoughts on that in just a minute. You can probably guess it might be them boys in blue, you never know. But this is a game where I think we all understand just how difficult it is from the Panthers' perspective. This is going to be a tough game. I saw a stat. This is going to be the 5th game in a row where the Carolina Panthers have gone up against either an NFL regular season MVP or a Super Bowl MVP. Last week, it was the Falcons with Matt Ryan. Then we had Drew Brees before that. Then we had Nick Foles, who was a Super Bowl MVP not too long ago with the Eagles. And of course, we had Matt Ryan again just 4 weeks ago. This is going to be Pat Mahomes, who's been both 5 straight games against regular season MVPs and Super Bowl MVPs. And if Tom Brady can stay healthy for 7 days in a row, it'll make 6 games, a full month and a half where the Panthers have gone against the best of the best. So we understand the kind of competition this team has gone up against week after week after week. And being 3-5 at this point may even be, overshooting what most people's expectations for this team was going to be coming into this season, especially for this defense. But this defense is not going to get a break. This defense is going to get the opposite of a break. This defense is going to be an overworked nurse on call at a hospital in a town where not a single person has worn a mask in 3 straight months. I'm talking about they are dealing with the coronavirus of offensive schemes. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, where they have Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they have Reek, they have Sammy Watkins, they have Travis Kelce, and oh yeah, they just added another player in the backfield. They have Le'Veon Bell. How is this fair? This team right here is the Avengers, and every single member of the team has an Infinity Gauntlet ready to just smack you in the face. Every single one of these dudes on offense is a monster. You have to go looking and searching high and low for one player who has a weakness that you can exploit. And then you have to look even longer, even higher, even lower to find a player on our defense who's 100% healthy, who's ready to exploit that weakness. And then you have to take a quick peek. Just open your eyes, quick blink. You can find 3 or 4 players who you might be able to exploit on this defense. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually am pretty impressed with how well this Panthers defense has played up to this point. We have not faced anything even close to what this Kansas City Chiefs team represents. Let me throw a few numbers at you real quick, just in case you don't understand exactly where I'm coming from here. This Chiefs offense is 4th in the league in yards per game at 410.5. They are tied for 2nd in the league in points per game at 31.6. They are 32nd in the league in interceptions, meaning Pat Mahomes has only thrown 1 single solitary interception this whole season. But it's not just their offense that's good. Their defense is actually pretty damn good too. They are 3rd in the league in pass yards allowed, only allowing 1 yard over 200. They only allow 201 yards per game, but they're actually pretty susceptible to the run. They've allowed an average of 143 yards per game on the ground. That is the one spot, the one chink in the armor, the one place you have to strike if you want to beat this Chiefs team. And that's actually a pretty decent strength for the Panthers, with maybe the potential to get even stronger, because this team has been without their number 1 offense, because this team has been without their number 1 offensive threat for 6 weeks straight. And the run game and the, pass catching out the backfield scheme has not really taken a huge hit with Mike Davis. but the team's been teasing toward Christian McCaffrey coming back this week. Now, last week, he came back from IR. He was designated to return, but has not yet been put back and activated on the 53-man roster. He practiced last week. He had full practice throughout most of this week, but the team has still not activated him yet. I delayed making this video just to see after practice if the team would say he practiced fully or limited, or if they'd even activate him to the final roster. They did not do that. There was news that he practiced fully, but he's not on the roster, which means he's also not on the injury report. That to me tells me nothing. I'm actually a little bit confused what this Carolina Panthers team thinks it's doing. Do we believe we're actually giving ourselves a tangible advantage over this Chiefs team by making them think, well, what if they bring him back? Maybe he's not going to be back. What if Christian McCaffrey's there? What's going to happen? We just do not know what's going to happen here. Let me ask you this. Has our scheme changed even in the slightest bit from the running back perspective with C-Mac gone? I'm not asking you if C-Mac is better than Mike Davis. That's not even a question. I'm saying, has Mike Davis done anything that C-Mac couldn't or hasn't? I'm thinking that Mike Davis runs inside, between the tackles. He's bounced runs outside. He's shown he has speed, he has strength, he can catch out the backfield, and we have not been shy about lining him out wide and in the slot. It doesn't happen as often as we do with C-Mac, and I don't think he's as good as C-Mac. But the looks we're going to be giving with both C-Mac and Mike Davis aren't going to be all that different, whether or not we bring C-Mac back during the week or we announce him as active on Saturday or early on Sunday. I'm not saying there aren't alignments we can use now that we have Mike Davis and C-Mac, and Mike Davis has actually proven that he can handle being a number one running back in this league. I'm saying we haven't shown anything. We haven't shown any kind of dual running back or dual pass catching threat in the backfield look at all. The Chiefs have nothing to go off of. We could have used Curtis Samuel and Mike Davis in the backfield as dual runners or guys who can both catch out the backfield, but we have not shown that. There is nothing in our film that they can work on and say, hold up. When they have this look with two different running threats and pass catching threats, they go to this, or they do this, or they like to go to this kind of tendency look. There's nothing in our scheme, in our film, that we've shown that they can actually prepare for. So what kind of mind game are you really playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 7-1, who opened as, I think, 14-point favorites, and I think that's been bet down to 12.5 or 11.5 by now. But just how much of an advantage do you really believe you are getting by sandbagging putting Christian McCaffrey back on this roster? But speaking of high impact players with injuries, let's talk about the other side of the ball, where the most important player on defense is also potentially maybe gonna be out for this game. I'm talking, of course, about Jeremy Chinn, the most consistent, the most high performing player on the defense for the Carolina Panthers in the 2020 season. I would say probably the steal of the draft. He has been good every single game of this year. He's played in 3 or maybe even 4 different positions on the field at different times. He's a strong safety, playing linebacker. He goes on the line sometimes. He plays corner sometimes. Jeremy Chinn is the heartbeat, is the centerpiece of this defense. He got hurt, aggravated an injury he had in college. He was out for practice, was limited on Thursday, was limited on Friday, and we're getting, mixed signals from the coaching staff as to whether or not he's going to play, as to whether or not he's going to play a lot. We heard a quote from Brian Burns saying, look, if you're hurt even a little bit, you don't want to come in here and make it worse. You just go ahead and rest it. Look, this is not the game to try to fight it out, to try to, fight through injuries, play hurt, and maybe, just maybe, your heart and your effort can squeeze out a W against a team. This is a game where if you think you're hurt, where if you think you might be hurt, where if you think you heard someone in the back room say, I saw him limp a little bit, this might be the perfect game for our high impact players like Jeremy Chinn, like Christian McCaffrey, to maybe just make sure they're 100%. You sit this week and you go on to the next week. Now, I ain't talking about no Kawhi Leonard load management situation here. I'm talking about being smart. I'm talking about Jeremy Chinn can have the best game of his life. Christian McCaffrey can have the best game of his life. And this Chiefs team can still win by 2 scores. That is not an insult to either one of those players. That is keeping it real about what exactly this Chiefs offense is and what our defense is looking like. Now, Tahir Whitehead has had a good couple of weeks. The last 2 games, I can't really say I saw very many bad things out of Tahir at all. Now, I know it's very popular to blame every single mistake on defense that we see on Tahir Whitehead. I'm not saying you extend the man. I'm not saying he's not bad. I'm not saying he is not a net negative to literally every single player on defense, offense, special teams, the coaching staffs, and their extended family, wherever they might live in the United States or maybe even internationally. I'm saying what Lil Uzi Vert once said. It do not matter. Okay? This Chiefs team could go against us at our very best. Teddy Bridgewater, averaging throws of 10 yards or greater. Robbie Anderson, going dummy. DJ Moore, not even thinking about dropping a pass. Catches every single throw that casts a shadow on his gloves. I'm talking about we actually use Curtis Samuel. I'm talking about this offensive coordinator and Joe Brady finally figures out what a tight end is. He finally finds out there was a player lined up outside of his tackle. Yes, he can block, but he can also catch passes. I'm talking about the perfect O-line protection you've ever seen. I'm talking about a reimagining of the Cowboys 2016-2017 offensive line. I'm talking about one of the greatest performances in the trenches you've ever laid eyes on, you've ever witnessed. And this Chiefs team could still put the hurt to this whole Panthers roster, past, present, and future. What I'm telling you is that we could have literal angels in the outfield. And it would not change the outcome of this game. Now, I know what your question is. You're asking yourself, what's he gonna say? Just give it to me straight. What is your score prediction for this contest between the 3-5 Panthers and the 7-1 Kansas City Chiefs? Let me tell you. $45-24. $45. You ain't hear me. You know what? I'll do it. I'll make it a little more fair. I say 45-27. If Jeremy Chinn does not play, and I'm pretty sure he probably won't. I don't want us to force him to play. If Jeremy Chinn does not play, everything we do on defense is just crumbled. He is the only piece of glue, the only piece of duct tape holding these cornerbacks, these safeties, the linebacker core in order. Jeremy Chinn, not on the field, changes the whole defensive scheme, changes all the play calling. It changes what literally every single player, no matter what side, no matter what level of the defense, it changes the whole mindset of this defense. C-Mac can come back, but if Jeremy Chinn isn't there, who's going to take down both Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell? Who do you trust to cover Travis Kelce? Okay, now who's stopping literally any single one of the wide receivers that wears red? Who lives in Missouri? And who's going to spy? Come on now. I said 27-45 and I'm being nice. That's all I gotta say about it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who wins this game, stat predictions, score predictions, all that in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.